They're older to enjoy.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe.
In the Madison area by opening new locations in Stoughton and Sun Prairie, in addition to existing locations on East Washington Avenue, Monona, and Lodi. Order your favorite subs online or via our app for delivery or pickup. Eat in or grab them to go through our drive-thru for a better sub experience. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance. And you can weather any storm. You'll also save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote. Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
KBN Nation, you know what it is. It's time to get in the game with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app, a pick'em fantasy game where you win real money and it's easy to find in your app store and even easier to use. Let me tell you about my experience playing Underdog Fantasy and picking my brew crew. It's so easy. Total bases. That's what I'm picking right now. 0.5 total bases. 1.5 total bases for Christian Yelich. That's it. Yep, you know I picked the over, and I hit big. I won $100+ on Easter. I got my picks in for today. I'm trying to win $272 as well. That's all you have to do. I put in 20. I can win $272 with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app. You pick 2 players. You pick at least from 2 different teams, higher or lower, and if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. Sign up today using promo code KBN. That's promo code KBN, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Make sure you get in the game with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
It's Kyle Brust of Dortmund across ESPN Wisconsin, and joining us on 100.5 ESPN Madison from 4 to 6, typically Rutledge and Hamilton, but Colin Russo and Jim Rutledge. What's up?
First of all, fellas, good to hear from you guys again. It's been a little bit. That last segment, I was lucky enough to be in the production studio here making sure it goes on the waves over here in 100.5. And that Jordan Love audio, I was about 5 minutes, no video, just audio of Jordan Love in the stands. Out of context, what the hell am I listening to? There was way too long on your part. You guys let it drag. I'm listening to crowd noise. He's doing like a bunch of oomphs and and get a home run. Like, what are we doing here? That was a little too long, Ben. Wouldn't you agree on that? I'm sorry. I was listening to it. I'm like, fellas, this is 10 minutes of crowd noise at a baseball game with Jordan Love.
You know what? Cut it. We
here?
Don't need to say. We know what?
Get him out of here.
We don't need Russo.
Get him out of here.
Cut his mic. We don't need Russo.
Get him out of here.
We'll just do Rutledge. We don't need Russo today.
What are we doing, fellas?
It's a rare opportunity. It's a rare opportunity to dive inside the unfiltered brain of Jordan Love, which you almost never get to see. So we would not deprive our audience of that opportunity.
If I was in the car and I turned on the radio like 10 seconds after you introed that audio, and I just listened to the crowd noise and a bunch of reactions to a baseball game in which I cannot even see from a quarterback.
So you don't believe in the power of baseball on the radio with Bob Uecker and 620 WTMJ.
They're not doing play-by-play,
Ben. When you say what's going on in the game, it's nice. Jordan Love's like, let's
Jim, do you have
here.
anything of substance to say today?
Yeah, or you just get a little puppet Russo keeps.
I love it. I walked into the studio, the Everlight Solar studio, and Colin immediately was like, this bothered me. Like, immediately just lit me up on it. I said, I didn't hear any of it. I was doing something else. Have at him. So,
That's absolutely ridiculous, fellas. It was entirely too long.
Did you?
30 seconds.
But you're telling me it's not interesting to not know and find out from that audio / not a lot of audio / cheering in the background that Jordan Love umped baseball games like the loser of 100.5 ESPN Madison, Jesse Nelson did?
That was 7 seconds.
But could you just tell us that?
That was 7 seconds of the 5 minutes that we listened to that. I think you could have cut it up a little bit.
So now you're a host and a producer.
He's not a producer.
What do you want to be today? What do you want to be today? Huh?
He's worse than me at producing. I can tell you that much.
This is not about me as a producer. This is about you guys understanding.
Colin and Rutledge, you guys have 5 minutes to say something of substance before you get cut.
5 minutes?
5 seconds. I'm sorry.
5 seconds. Keep working hard, fellas. I'm always happy to be
I
here.
can't wait to hear Caleb Williams' thoughts on baseball. Can't wait for that.
Cut him, Chris. We don't need him.
It'd be more interesting. It'd be more interesting than what the product on the field is. So
Sure. Caleb Williams
Yeah,
not
sure.
interesting to watch? He won't be interesting to watch on the field?
No, the most interesting thing he did was jump in the stands and crying to his
Not
mom
winning a Heisman?
paint his
Well,
nails.
Heisman wasn't interesting.
Painting
Kyle?
his nails is a nice touch,
Yeah.
too.
yeah, he's making more headlines off the field than he is on.
Winning a
Put some lip
Heisman?
gloss on.
Winning a Heisman, which is the best player in
Who
college.
cares?
How many
Somebody cares.
Heisman quarterbacks have turned out to be good
Did Jordan
QB1s?
Love do that?
Chris
Good
Winkie,
question.
like what are you talking about here? A Heisman?
Sick
thing?
Heisman, bro.
Eric Crouch, huh?
First overall
Bears
pick.
talk on 100.5
Kenny, first
ESPN
overall
Madison
pick.
next.
I'm already in your feelings. You know
Plus
Caleb's
some
coming for you.
23-year-old
You
running his
know
mouth.
Caleb is coming for you.
Can we pause on the statue of Jordan Love?
Sell out. Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sporked called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni Frozen Pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian. Taste what all the screamin' is about.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this year's Sports Center Update brought to you by Sunshine Place, a nonprofit community resources center dedicated to housing stability in Sun Prairie and Eastern Dane County. To learn more and help support the organization, visit sunshineplace.org. Milwaukee Brewers starting a 3-game home series tonight against the Seattle Mariners. First pitch from AmFam Field will be at 7:10 p.m. with Freddie Peralta back on the mound after getting a win on opening day. Mariners hitting just 196 as a team through their first 7 games of the season. 4 combined home runs for the team. Brewers are at 4-1 and looking to improve to 5-1 starting tonight. Brewers are ranked number 11 in the MLB's current power rankings over at ESPNWisconsin.com. Head over there to check out the rest of the rankings today. Meanwhile, the Milwaukee Bucks also back at it after dropping back-to-back games to 2 of the worst teams in the NBA, losing to the Wizards and the Grizzlies. They host the Raptors tonight at Pfizer Forum, 7 p.m. tip-off time for that one. ESPN Bet has the Bucks as minus 15.5-point favorites with Damian Lillard back in the lineup after he sat out against the Grizzlies on Wednesday, though Giannis Antetokounmpo and Patrick Beverley both doubtful with injuries as well.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
You got the chill.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton with Jim Rutledge and Matt Hamilton.
People like me.
That's some booty, Jim.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
Everyone is so mean to me.
I am Jim Rutledge.
You never go full Rutledge.
Things are coming up. Rutledge.
I'm going to walk you through how my Saturday is going to go. I'm going to sit down, make myself a little cocktail, cut up a little gummy right in the hat. I'm going to call my bookie, Fat Rob, Grand Rapids. Have you met him? No, you haven't. He's a priest, so he's a bookie, and he's a priest.
I don't know what exactly all happened there, but...
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio. Alongside Colin Russo, here's Jim Rutledge.
Hearing that laugh, I'll tell you right now, I miss Chris Orr. And I'm excited to be with Colin Russo today, but that laugh right there, Chris Orr, working with Baylor Athletics now. And that laugh will always be welcome on the show. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. If the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that is crush a Coors Light.
That's right. Colin can crush a Coors Light now. We are live from the Everlight Solar Studio. What's that?
Did I steal Ryan's thunder there?
Honestly, I was caught off guard by it because I'm so used to the other host saying it now. Matt's been gone for so long that I didn't even think about asking Colin to do it, but you just natural. You got it right away.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'm fresh on these Coors Light reads. I couldn't do it for 2 years. So
So, I mean, he's been around like as a child, like click on Coors Light, and now you're taken aback.
Now he's truly part of the Rutledge and Hamilton family. He can crack a Coors Light.
Absolutely. The Coors Light boxes are askew. What happened here?
That's a great question. I would say Mr. Irrelevant probably had something to do with that.
He's a Bob. He's not even here today. What is
exactly. I mean, he just permeates. I don't know what he does.
Just ruining everything. So Mr. Irrelevant Alex Strofe was in the show the last 2 days. Matt Hamilton. Ryan, you are a curling expert. What's up with Matt Hamilton?
Why would you call me a curling expert?
You tweeted it from there. You manage the Rutledge and Hamilton Twitter account, so
this is true.
You have tweeted out some news on him.
Yes, so they did advance to the playoffs of the World's Curling Championship. Yes, let's go.
Let's go. So there was
there was a round robin. It was group stage. They played 12 games. They finished 7-5.
Are they matches or games?
Look, come on, you can't.
Well, you should know.
Call yourself a curling expert.
Yeah, I call myself the expert. Exactly. No, because I followed along enough and I read enough on worldcurling.org, essentially. I figured out that they did secure a spot this morning. They took down I don't know what country this is, but it's...
Dude, give it your best shot.
Czechia? It's not Czechoslovakia. It's just CZCHEICA.
All right, 844-770-3776. Call in and tell us how to pronounce that.
Like, seriously, it took me a few times to look at it being like, this is spelled wrong, right? It's on every graphic.
So you got to go to that website to get updates on the curling?
Yes, exactly.
There's no beat writers on site?
There might be.
Is there a curling team?
Team Schuster does have their own blog. They update daily. And they have a great Twitter account as well.
They have their own blog?
They have a blog. Yeah, they
I only knew they had a Twitter account.
Yeah, they put out articles for like every major event they got coming up. Yeah, it's a robust organization
I'm
over there.
sold on him being a curling guy.
There you go. Okay, I just text Matt, how you doing?
What? Wait, what's that?
I just text Matt, how's it going?
Yeah.
What's happening? Can't find it anywhere. I tried one website and it was too hard, and I said, forget it.
It's not the best media infrastructure. I'll say that. It's pretty scanned.
Yeah, but Team USA Curling is. You think their Twitter account would have handled? Didn't tweet anything out.
Not really. Team Schuster's Twitter account is the best one to follow. But they will be advancing to the playoffs. I'm not sure they're going to play yet, but I think it's them, Germany, Italy, Canada, Sweden, and then Switzerland also made it.
Who's really good other than Team Schuster?
Canada for sure is great. I mean, Team Schuster's representing the USA, and then. I think, Jim, back you me up on this one. Canada, right?
Oh, wait, hold on.
Sure.
Hold on a second. Don't cop out. Don't cop out.
Well, I believe, yes, it should be the USA and Canada are usually the top. It's kind of like hockey, too, where it's kind of all the ice sports.
There, they're good,
pretty much, right?
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, if there's ice and you can kind of drink a Coors Light while doing it, it's the USA and Canada.
I mean, you clearly had some access to, like, the standings. Like, you could have just looked. Like, you had a...
Yeah. I did, but I wasn't sure how much to trust the website I was on. As I said, not the most robust, reliable.
It's like I think look at the same site. It's like an Excel file. You're like, I don't know if this is real.
Oh, really?
It's like what is it? Windows 4 maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What intern is updating this? Like,
I'd feel more comfortable if someone had just written it down and taken a picture, put it on Twitter. But like, it seems right. I don't know.
Yeah.
So. Matt's playing again, like 2 a.m. or something like that?
Yeah, that's the other thing is all the game times are like the first one. They played 2 of them technically today. Mm-hmm. The first one was at 2 a.m. and then the other one was at 7 a.m.
So they play first thing in the morning.
Yeah, first thing in the morning, because they're, 7 hours ahead of us, something like that? 6 in Switzerland?
I think it's 11 o'clock in Switzerland at the start of the show, 11 p.m.
Currently. So yeah, it would be 7 hours ahead of us. Yeah, so it's been very tough to keep along with, I'll say that. But I've done my best. I've tried to stay up to date. But yes. We're in the playoffs, boys. Let's go.
So when is that? Is that tomorrow morning?
I don't know when the playoffs start.
Okay. So you don't have a lot of information.
Look, they didn't update the Excel file yet. They didn't update it yet.
You got to wait for the Excel file. So you don't know where we're playing, when we're playing.
I know it's in Switzerland. It's in Switzerland.
We can all agree that Matt could have just lied to us and said he was at a curling. We'd be like, sure.
On a beach somewhere.
Especially when he's at these other random ones where he's like, I'm at a curling event in Arizona.
Yeah, sure. Phoenix, yeah.
Sure you are. I don't know. Is there even curling? I don't even know if there's a curling club down there. Nobody bothered to check. Nobody cares. Because if it's not the Nationals or the Worlds, like nobody cares. It's just like a random, it'd be like the equivalent of like him golfing in like a random golf outing.
Yeah.
Like if he was a professional golfer, it'd be like, I'm golfing in the Sirixon Open. Okay, sure. Whatever. It's not on TV anywhere. It's not broadcast anywhere. So
are we at the point where we should start questioning Matt Hamilton's credibility
we need
of
like
where
a proof,
he is?
Yeah, proof of life.
Proof of life, proof of performance.
Proof of curling.
Proof of performance. Time to send a box score.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
I need picture in front of whatever curling arena he is
with the
allegedly
newspaper
at.
with today's date, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. But then we need to have forensics look at it, make sure it wasn't superimposed.
Forensics. Forged. Am I forensics as
Yeah,
well?
you're forensics. You gotta check
I
it's
feel
forged.
in your future you'll be dealing with this 3 days in a row. It's not a foot fetish. I just like his shoes.
Just don't believe him.
Right.
Don't believe him.
That's amazing. As Ryan is talking to his best friend Robin Madison.
Look, he was educating me on the Sajija Republic. It's apparently
all right.
It's apparently the Czech Republic. That's another way to spell it. He apparently Rob's Bohemian and he knows these things. As he was just filling me in on the line. But yes,
and Eric in Green Bay has a long text about it too. You can share with us.
Oh, well, thank you, Eric. I'm so glad the fans keep us in check here.
They have better background.
Are we
than
a
Ryan
bunch of
here.
idiots, or like do we have?
No, I think this is a very niche thing. This is incredibly niche.
You think?
It's a niche audience.
The Czech Republic wants more people to refer to it as, I'm not even going to try to say it. The Czech Republic would like to be used for government documents, embassy business, and legal correspondence with, not going to try and say it again.
Whoa.
Would be used in more casual, practical circumstances.
There's no way you can say that country's name casually.
No, right? Thanink you.
Was it?
That's crazy. Legal stuff, and then you casually in conversation, you just change the name of the country.
How many times in casual conversation do you guys bring up the Czech Republic?
Often.
Yeah.
Now I have to change how I'm going to do it.
You looked that up? I wonder if you looked that up.
But I mean, I
Eric,
guess like,
Eric Googled it.
So this is a stupid question. We are the United States of America, correct?
Oh,
like
yes.
as official documents. So
Okay,
I guess we're
that's fair.
America, USA.
Okay, all right. Fair point.
the States.
Yeah. So
All right.
Okay.
So Czech Republic has one of those as well. They have a couple other names.
yeah,
Nicknames,
mixing up a little bit.
if you will.
They're trying to be with the times.
Yeah,
I mean, who doesn't want to be called? I'm just gonna call it the Z. I don't know.
The Z.
Like,
We already have one Z. Z and the D.
this is Z in the Czech.
The Czech.
That's Z in the Czech.
Okay.
All right. So, as you heard in Crosstalk, Colin, huge fan of KBN's use of Jordan Love hanging out at a ball game.
Felt like Green Bay to me.
And you're right. They know you're right. There was a lot of ambient noise and wasted time that was
2 minutes.
unneeded.
Unbelievable, dude.
Unneeded during there. But it does speak to the sycophant nature of that show with
Yeah.
Jordan Love that it didn't even bother to cross their minds of like, I don't. And also, it's like audio that's 3 days old. If you are that big of a Jordan Love fan, you probably came across this.
Ryan can attest to it, too. Right when the audio was done, they were all three of them were like, wow. Why you got so enamored by the fact that he was an umpire?
He umped?
Oh, my goodness. They're like, whoa, we wouldn't have known if he's an umpire.
When
What
you,
about us?
when you first met Jesse Nelson and realized he was an umpire, did you go, whoa?
Oh, he was an umpire?
Honestly, like, what could have, and maybe wrong answer is only 844-770-3776, what could have Jordan Love said that they would have not had that same reaction to?
He could have said anything.
Right.
He could have said anything. Like talking about the food that I love a hot dog.
Like, he could have just
wow,
listed
he loves
off
a hot dog.
Jesse Nelson activities and been like, I love to bowl. They'd be like, oh, wow.
Jordan Love?
That probably speaks to why he's in such good form. Like, what other dorky things? Jordan Love could have said, I had the gout, like Jesse Nelson had the gout, and like the same thing.
They
like,
got to pause on that. They want Jordan Love's statue outside their homes, outside of Lambeau, outside. Like, let's take a pause on the complete obsession with that show and Jordan Love. I think it's a little much.
It is, because as we're going to talk a lot about quarterbacks today, one, there's no one way to make a quarterback, but there's also not, look, I don't know, Baker Mayfield was really good for 3 years, then bad for 2 years, and now is good again.
Yeah.
And then you have Cam Newton was the the bee's knees. I don't know why that one came to mind, but he was the cock of the walk. Whatever you want to go with it, he was the main guy for a while, and then off the face of the earth. There are plenty of quarterbacks who have had
Kyler Murray up and down.
Yes, Jalen Hurts would have won the MVP if he was healthy their Super Bowl season, their season they got to the Super Bowl. And then this last year, he was above average, but not the success isn't necessarily linear, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen. This could be Jordan Love. Like, he might just get marginally better, which then he's more athletic Jared Goff, which is still a good quarterback. But
they don't want to hear that.
Everyone just assumes, like, okay, you are a Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence has gotten better, but I also think that Jaguar fans, especially after year one, especially after year two even, you thought, well, he's moving into the upper stratosphere.
Year 3 was worse than year 2.
Yep.
And it's a testament to everything having to click with a quarterback. So the idea, and I see it a lot around these stations in the show, and KBN especially, it's a guarantee to what you're saying. They're acting like it's a guarantee that this guy's going to come in, throw for 42 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, win 13 games, and win 2 playoff games. There is no guarantee of that. Their continued development. There is no guarantee of a step forward for Jordan Love, in my opinion. But he's good. Great playoff game. Got better as the year went along. Congratulations. I watched him against that Raider team. That was one of the worst games I've ever watched a quarterback play. He was awful. The Broncos, awful. It wasn't great for the whole year. So the idea that we should enshrine Jordan Love into over the bed frames of each of these gentlemen on KBN, we should take a pause on the obsession with Jordan Love. He's a good player. We'll see what he does. Team's getting better. Calm down. Calm down. Takes a lot for a quarterback to all work out. Trevor Lawrence is one of them.
Right, and I want to circle back to that. I know it's not necessarily Madison specific, but Trevor Lawrence is another good comp, especially we're going to talk a lot about quarterbacks. I want to ask you, after Trevor Lawrence's, well, you know what? His rookie season was pretty good, but after his 2022 season, 66% completion percentage, 4,000 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and that's just through the air.
And that's winning a playoff game,
and
too.
Won a play. So, very similar year, because the touchdowns for quarterbacks, to me, that can be an abstract stat. Sometimes you just come up short, and you get a lot of rushing touchdowns, and there's a lot of, you could just have a couple big games with a lot of TDs. So, that is a season that statistically is very similar to what Jordan Love did. And Jordan Love was entering his 4th year as a starter, or 4th year in the league, 1st year as a starter. Trevor Lawrence, second full season as a starter. The very big jump. So you were expecting what after the 2022 season with those stats and the playoff victory?
Here's what gets people in trouble in the NFL. People can assume that, you have a good year and all of a sudden you're reliant or you believe that, we have this roster foundation set. Let's let them develop. We don't need to address as much as people think we need to address. That is what the Jaguars did in 2022 after they won a playoff game. They played the Chiefs tough, and the Chiefs went on to win a Super Bowl. They went into the offseason. They had the quarterback set. They had enough of the players already set. They didn't make any splashes. They didn't try to beef up any positions like the defensive line and offensive line, and they got burnt because of it. And they got burnt in 2023, and they assumed that they would develop better than they actually did. And I'm going to be honest, the Packers, they've improved, but they're putting a little too much stock in the guaranteed development of all these young players around them. Sophomore slumps happen. Slumps generally happen. Injuries happen. There's no guarantee of these players coming in and taking a monumental leap just because they had some playoff success the year prior.
See Christian Watson. I mean, everyone thought he was Eric Stokes. 2 guys, draft picks, injuries are part of it, but that's part of football. Let's get off to Curtis to Madison before we get the break. Curtis,
hey,
what's
doing,
up?
Guys?
Good.
Nothing much. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, bud.
I was going to say, I totally agree with the last guy was saying. And I'm going to say this from a Lions fan perspective, right? Everyone, since the last game and the Niners lost, all I've been hearing is, oh, you guys be the next year, you probably be the next year, oh, you be the next year. I just look at these people and say, do you watch the NFL? Like, this is a year-to-year thing. there is no guarantees you will ever be in the same position that you are in the year before because of injuries, because of just talent falling off and other talent getting better. So, like, you can't just enshrine these years and think you're going to be locked in because it's a long year. Thanks.
Thanks, Curtis. I want to ask this question. I want to tell you about our good friends at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. I want to ask you this question here. There is no one way. I think retroactively we kind of put these quarterbacks in a box. What is the best way, the most important thing in developing a quarterback? Is it the quarterback's talent? Is it the roster of the team? Excuse me, I'm getting choked up over it. Or is it sitting?
It's not your fault.
Which one of those three things is the most important?
Sitting, you mean for a full season? That's
Sitting
probably
for a
the
full
guarantee?
season, yeah.
Okay. Because, some quarterbacks do 4 games. I believe it was Mayfield who didn't start immediately. I don't think Lamar started immediately. Like, they waited a couple
Lamar
games.
didn't start to the playoffs. That was Joe Flacco
yeah,
still.
It was Flacco. Was it until, was it the playoffs or was it
I think it was like week 13 maybe.
Yeah.
So 844-770-3776. Which one of those three? Sitting for a season, having a talented roster, or just being a talented quarterback? 844-770-3776. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Rutledge and Hamilton every Thursday, and we will let you know where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes. To celebrate our love for dive bars, me and Matt are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one extra special dive bar that will have $2 High Lifes on special for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like Rip's Bar in Wanakee, Paul's Neighborhood Bar, Villa Tap, and Nitty Gritty in Sun Prairie.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Haul away big deals this Thursday through Sunday at Fleet Farm's Truckload Savings Event. Like 40-pound bags of black oil sunflower seed on sale for $14.99. Save on a Blackstone 28-inch griddle with cover and accessories, just $249.99. Pick up 4 bags of garden soil on sale for $10. And save on 40 pounds of Morton water softening pellets for only $5.79. Stock up on everything you need for everyday life at Fleet Farm.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
What does it take to make a diamond? Extreme heat and pressure and about 1 billion years. But you can't wait that long. What do? You go to Goodman's Jewelers. I'm John Hayes from Goodman's Jewelers. There's a reason we are the Diamond Store of Madison. Since 1933, we provided outstanding service and selection to our customers, and that in turn has helped to establish countless great memories through the years. Goodman'sJewelers.com, located at 220 State Street. Truly a destination worth reaching.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
Cousin Subs was founded in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1972 and has been a member of the Madison community for decades. This year, Cousins has expanded their footprint in the Madison area by opening new locations in Stoughton and Sun Prairie, in addition to existing locations on East Washington Avenue, Monona, and Lodi. Order your favorite subs online or via our app for delivery or pickup. Eat in or grab them to go through our drive-thru for a better sub experience. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Madison athletes seeking elite training need to get started today at Total Athlete Performance. TAP is here to serve and educate the serious athlete with their speed, agility, and semi-private training options. Sessions are now available in both Windsor and their TAP facility inside the Verona Athletic Center. Also access remote training anytime, anywhere with the Total Athlete Performance app. Visit tapwisconsin.com for subscriptions, including monthly payment options. That's tapwisconsin.com.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Wisconsin.
Welcome back to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
My favorite kind of text from David Deerfield. You guys are right. Look at Dan Marino, Super Bowl year number 2. Never getting a sniff since. Nothing is guaranteed. We are talking about quarterbacks by we. I mean Colin Russo, Jim Rutledge. Live from the Everlight Solar Studio. We're presented by Coors Light. I want to tell everyone about Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. You heard me talk about a million different times here. I'm going to go out there. So I have a birthday coming up later this month. I told my wife, I want to go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I want to see Lee. I want to get myself a nice steak over at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. I'll say what's up to Lee. You should do the same thing, whether it's for a special occasion, a happy hour, or you just want to have a company event, or you want to stay out of the doghouse. There's a million different great reasons to go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We're talking about quarterbacks, and we talked all the time about quarterbacks, Colin, and I think in Wisconsin we're all like, oh, the way to win. I hear Tauscher say all the time, look, here's how you do it. You sit the quarterback because that's your best chance for success. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at Jordan Love is the one they're going to point to. Look at Aaron Rodgers. But Brett Favre didn't sit.
Yeah.
Brett Favre just arrived and started playing. I don't think there's a magic bullet. Is my main point of this.
Walked in, started playing.
Yes, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, who has been to a Super Bowl and got to the NFC Championship game last year, is a very good quarterback. Walked in and started playing. There is Peyton Manning wasn't great, but he still ended up as one of the all-time great quarterbacks. He wasn't great in his first year. There is no magic bullet. I think it's very specific to each quarterback. But I want to ask this: 844-770-3776. If you're trying to pick the most important thing in developing a quarterback, is it them sitting for a year? Is it just their overall talent? Or is it the talent of the football team?
You know, if I was thinking about that, and you're right, it is completely based on the individual and how they respond to talent around them, or if the quarterback is needy on having great players around him, or if he's not. There's certain players that can operate and succeed without terrific players around them. But to that point, I don't think the sitting is as important as I would say Packer fans think as it's as important. I think the overall talent, a quarterback can be talented up the wazoo and still struggle. I think it's the team around him and constructing the proper roster that complements that specific ability of the quarterback and also complements like health, flow. He doesn't need to win the game by himself. Why do you think a lot of these number 1 overall pick quarterbacks really struggle in their rookie year? Lawrence, granted, an all-time botch job by Urban Meyer. Bryce Young's another one. A lot of these first overall pick quarterbacks walk into dumpster fire organizations, either with new coaches or coaches that are on their way out. And it doesn't matter how talented they are, because if they were unanimous number 1 overall pick selections, people want to talk about it. Bryce Young, he was unanimous. People, C.J. Stroud should have. No. Everybody was on the same page that it was Young. It's the team around him. That Panther team is horrific. The Jaguar team that they had was horrific top to bottom. That's why they struggle. It's all about the team that they build around you. You agree with that, Jim?
Absolutely. And you look at, best rookie QBs of all time. I just pulled this up here. This is from SI. And number 1 on the list is Ben Roethlisberger. He went into a loaded Steelers team, and he went in and won right away. And he's going to end up as a Hall of Fame quarterback with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was an all-time great. And RG3 did not have the career, but he was actually very successful in his first year. 3,200 yards passing, 20 TDs. He also ran for 7 TDs. So, again, was not a guy who went to obviously that then Redskins team was good, and he had success right away. As he rolled out, Cam Newton, He went in, and he was incredibly successful his first year, threw for 4,000 yards, and actually had a good NFL career. It was not an all-time great, but had a good NFL career, played immediately. So Russell Wilson, Super Bowl, played immediately. Probably ends up as a Hall of Famer, maybe has to do a little bit more work at the back end here, but he's close. Dan Marino, started as a rookie, Hall of Famer. Matt Ryan, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but he's pretty darn close, started as a rookie. So I'm listing Andrew Luck. If he had played his whole career, would have been a Hall of Famer. Andy Dalton, a very good quarterback, started as a rookie. These are just some of the players. Jameis Winston would be the outlier there who was not good. But Peyton Manning, yes, he threw 28 interceptions. He threw 26 touchdowns. And so a lot of these, and then obviously that's not even talking about Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow, and there's plenty of other guys who have C.J. Stroud this last year.
Recent years, too. I mean, like, that 2011, 2012, because you're looking at it, you got Andrew Luck going first overall and Cam Newton going first overall, both coming in and very, very successful to start their careers. That has got to be some sort of outlier, the fact that they could walk into a team that deserves the number one overall pick and succeed immediately. You think about the last few years. Lawrence, like I said earlier. Bryce Young, like I said earlier. Joe Burrow was getting sacked every other possession his rookie year until he tore up his knee, like in week 9 of that year. So the fact that these guys walk in, which is why I think it's beneficial, the fact that Caleb Williams, if he goes number 1, is walking into a team that doesn't necessarily deserve the number 1 overall pick in terms of talent. It's all about the team and how it complements the player. You know, certain teams, Lamar Jackson walked into a perfect situation. He walked into a run-first offense that complemented his abilities with a great offensive line, a good defense, and speedy receivers that complemented his game. That's why it works. Mahomes walked in to a team that was a perennial playoff team, not a playoff perennial winner, but a playoff perennial team, and who had a good quarterback, who had a good offense. Kelsey was already there, and a top 5 coach in the history of the NFL, probably.
They were a playoff team
every year.
The year before, even the year before Mahomes took over. They were a playoff team with Alex Smith. And Mahomes, I'm sorry, would have played and probably had a similar year to Trevor Lawrence if he had played his rookie year. You don't go from like, oh, I can't handle the NFL to 50 touchdowns in one offseason. Like, Mahomes would have not been the same player that rookie season that he was in year 2, but I don't think that would have regressed him. So I do think talent's the most important thing. And I guess the big part of this is there are some players that are so talented that you really have to botch it to miss. Now, all that being said, I think the Packers and sitting Jordan Love was the right decision.
Because that's the type of player he needed. Yes.
And Aaron Rodgers, too. Aaron Rodgers was from the Jeff Tedford quarterback school. They had Kyle Bowler and Trent Dilfer, and some of these guys had bad habits as college quarterbacks that they had a hard time breaking in the NFL. So Aaron Rodgers, I think, needed that seasoning. He probably started a year too late. I think Jordan Love would have been even better served, not better served, but the Packers would have had 2 years of Jordan Love on a rookie scale deal instead of really 1 if they had started Jordan Love a year earlier. Jordan Love didn't need to sit the whole time he sat, but I think 1 year is beneficial. Look at Chicago. I think Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields would have done much better off sitting, but that's the type of quarterback they are. You look at the true number 1 guys, and they don't often have to sit. Bill Barnwell actually wrote a great piece on ESPN for ESPN Plus and kind of broke down the success rate of quarterbacks in the NFL. And really, if you're picking outside of the top 3 at quarterback, it's probably not going to work. It's a crapshoot. It is insane how unlikely it is that you are successful as a quarterback if you are taken out of the top 3 picks.
Is there one that pops to mind the last few years that you're like, I thought this guy was going to be great and he wasn't?
I would say that
I was always on the Josh Rosen train for some reason.
That a lot of people will say Josh Rosen. I'll say I didn't think Zach Wilson would be an abject disaster. I didn't think he'd be great, but I am blown away with, and even Trey Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence?
No, Trey Lance.
Combine them.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
I was surprised with how bad he was. Now, injuries popped into it, but I want to get to this before we go to break here. So, what NFL teams get, this is from Bill Barnwell on ESPN Plus, what NFL teams get when they take a quarterback first overall? And I think this part matters, and obviously we're talking about this some with Chicago, who has a team that won even before they added DeAndre Swift and Jared Everett and Keenan Allen and multiple offensive linemen and the 9th overall pick in addition to Caleb Williams. And I think I'm missing people in there. Before they added all that, they were a 7-win team last year. So they're a team that is a poised to make that next jump, much like the Lions. I do think they could follow a very similar path that the Lions have followed here, and Caleb Williams will be the key to that. So Caleb Williams is going to a very good football team. They're not playoff level.
Well, very good.
Good football team.
A good situation, absolutely.
Good situation, yeah.
He's got to be happy about that.
I think he is. He's not taking any more visits. So that's basically done. So what NFL teams get with the first overall pick? Best case scenario, Peyton Manning. The 80th percentile is Joe Burrow. Even the league average, you average it out, the type of quarterback you would get first overall is Jared Goff. Even 20th percentile, so still very likely.
A second contract, reputable starter.
David Carr. Worst case scenario is DeMarcus Russell. So based on the stats, the worst you most likely do at the first overall pick is David Carr.
Yeah.
And so that right there speaks to just normally the immense talent. Now, when you factor in that Caleb is probably the best prospect since either Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow, and maybe even Andrew Luck, depending on who you're talking with, that makes it more likely it will be a good player. Now, when you go first round, I just want to share this part of it because that's where, Jordan Love's an outlier here. Because when you take a quarterback in round one, best case scenario, so outside of the top 10, outside of first overall, so just in round one, Patrick Mahomes is the best case scenario. 80th percentile is Donovan McNabb. Average is Jason Campbell. But still, E.J. Manuel is a very likely scenario. And then Art Schlichter, who I don't even know who that is.
Schlichter? Isn't he from Ohio State, the guy who cheated?
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
I don't know. So
he was gambling on games.
That's the worst case scenario. So, if you looked at the most likely scenario for a quarterback who's just drafted in the first round, it's somewhere between Jason Campbell and E.J. Manuel. So Jordan Love's already outpaced that.
Yeah.
But that's where it makes more sense. You sit them. You let them cook a little bit because if you're drafting in the first round, you usually, for quarterbacks, it's rare right now. So Caleb Williams is viewed as the best overall prospect, Marvin Harrison 2, and then Drake May. Most people have that. That's rare. Usually the quarterback's maybe 5th, 6th overall prospect, and then they get bumped up. You'll see Michael Penix and Bo Nix. They're probably viewed as 2nd, 3rd round picks, but you need a quarterback. The position's valuable, so you're going to bump them up in the draft. So that's why a lot of these guys fail out in the first round because they're overdrafted, and then they don't get to sit because teams want their first round quarterback to play, and then it's just a
Fans
disaster.
want him to play, too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think there's probably a little bit of a misconception with how doable the Packers' blueprint is. And what I mean by the Packers' blueprint is sitting them for a couple of years and letting them kind of marinate and develop and then firing them out of a cannon when they're ready. The Packers are a rare franchise that has at least in the past few years, for a first-round quarterback that they didn't play. They're lucky because they had the same coach. You had the same staff. You had the same front office.
Yep.
They all had that on their vision board for the entirety of that development. Every other quarterback who does that and is either in and out of the starting lineup or sitting for a couple of games, all of a sudden you walk into these teams that are complete disasters and you bring in different coaches. What is the quarterback really learning? You're learning different offenses. You're just confusing the kid at that point.
Absolutely.
So the Packers are in a lucky position. It's not just sit him and just let him cook in an oven for 3 years and then all of a sudden he's baked. It's got to be a perfect situation, a perfect solution, and a coaching staff has a lot to do with that. A lot of these teams, coaching turnover in the NFL is as high as it's ever been. There's 7 new positions every year, and that's just it's a crapshoot. And the Packers are one of the most well-ran organizations in sports.
Yep.
So they're lucky that they're able to do that.
And success begets success. You were able to sit. Nobody's calling for Jordan Love when you have Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
And that's part of the key to their success. Eric in Green Bay chimes in. Favre sat his first year in Atlanta, but Eric, Colin just proved my point on that. Sitting somewhere else on a different team is not beneficial. It's a completely different offense, completely different coaching staff. It's honestly almost a detriment to have to sit on a different team and come in. Favre's success was not a sitting situation. And because if you're on a different team, different offense, in a different city, and then you go to somewhere else and you start playing immediately, that's not sitting. That's not you're marinating. It's not. You can't just sit. It's not Madden where you just simulate to the next year and you just automatically get 5 points better.
Yeah,
it has to be the right situation.
And it's not like he's not understanding the speed of the game. I understand that. NFL speed is maybe adjusting to that. But a lot of what they do, the reasoning they sit these guys is to learn the offense.
Yes.
You can't change the offense year in, year out. That's probably why Trevor Lawrence had so much.
Look at every Chicago quarterback.
Yeah.
Usually they draft the guy, then they fire the coach, and then they reset the whole thing. Jaron Sun Prayers chimes in, depends on the organization. Yes, but I also say that you're not successful until you're successful as an organization. Nobody had, the Packers were bad forever. And then they stumbled into Brett Favre, an incredibly talented quarterback.
You can make a case for a team like the Ravens. They had Joe Flacco, and before that they had, who won their first Super Bowl? The guy
it was Dilfer.
Dilfer. I mean, Jag quarterbacks.
Well, that's the team. I honestly think the Ravens are the best run organization in football.
Fair.
To be able to win with that hodgepodge of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But in general.
And they're lucky because they have the same coach. And
true.
And he's a tenured. Tomlin's another example. He's the same coach. And they haven't even hit with their quarterbacks. But that's a very large benefit that a lot of quarterbacks that are drafted in the NFL do not get.
Yeah, the Steelers have had 3 coaches in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
I mean, with Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin.
So does that mean Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are both Hall of Famers?
If you combine them, they would be the greatest quarterback of all time. But that is not the case.
No, maybe that's the real question. If we could combine 2 quarterbacks together, if you could combine Peyton Manning and, I don't know, Tom Brady, is that Patrick Mahomes, basically?
Yeah.
There you go. We already have that guy. 844-770-3776. David Deerfield also brought up Aikman getting just destroyed in Dallas. So I think there are certain quarterbacks that need a little bit of coddling or working around their flaws that are too big to bring into college or bring in from college. For an example, I'll just use these 2 because everyone here has seen them. But Justin Fields, the knock on him in college was that he never threw over the center of the field. And that is a marker now that they point out for quarterbacks coming in. If you're not throwing over the middle of the field in college, you're not going to be able to do it in the NFL. What's the knock on Russell Wilson? He doesn't like to throw over the middle of the field. If you can't throw over the middle of the field, that is usually a red flag for a quarterback. That never had a chance to be developed out while sitting with the same coach and the same offense, because not only on top of that he had that flaw, he switched whole new coaching staff and a whole new offensive system after year 1. Mitch Trubisky, the other guy, can't throw left. Never had an opportunity to really work on that before he got out in the NFL.
Too busy worrying about a new playbook.
Right, exactly. So that's kind of where things can go downhill. J&K Security Solutions will make sure nothing goes downhill for your home or your business. They have commercial fire detection. They have security and surveillance. They are dedicated to keeping your home and your business safe. Go to jksecurity.com to learn more. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, and we can prove it. Follow the show on Twitter at Jim and Matt.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, 'cause Truck Star Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts, because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truck Star Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truck Star is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truck Star Collision Vision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
Matt Hamilton here to tell you about my friends at Revive Restoration. Nobody plans for accidents to happen, but when they do, you can count on Revive to be professional, efficient, and detail-oriented as they make things right again. Revive Restoration.
Beautify your entertainment space with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home has never been easier. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months, or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months if you book before April 30th. Take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
The Packers Tailgate Tour is coming to Sun Prairie on Friday, April 12th to help support Sunshine Place, a nonprofit community resources center dedicated to household stability in Sun Prairie and eastern Dane County. Sunshine Place provides meals, clothing, and living supplies, along with a wide array of social and community services to community members facing food insecurity and other hardships. Join the Packers Tailgate Tour in supporting Sunshine Place of Sun Prairie and Dane County. Visit sunshineplace.org to learn more.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Carbon World Health.
Dan and Stoughton chimed in saying you're forgetting about Mark and New Berlin. That is true. As we said, nobody was calling for Jordan Love when Aaron Rodgers was here. Mark and New Berlin was calling for Mr. Jordan Love for a long time. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. We're live from the Everlight Solar Studio. Jim Rutledge, Colin Russo with you. And we're talking quarterbacks and what's the magic bullet as far as developing a quarterback or a quarterback. It's honestly not even the franchise QB things. I also think these quarterbacks have ceilings, that not every quarterback can be turned into a franchise QB, even a first-round guy. Like, for an example, if you looked at Justin Fields, I don't think Justin Fields could turn into a traditional franchise QB, but I do think that Chicago did not maximize Justin Fields' potential. I would say the same thing with Mitch Trubisky. You're telling me Mitch Trubisky couldn't have been Andy Dalton?
Yeah, and one thing about that, too, is when all of a sudden, think about this last few years. I think if you did the numbers, last 5 or so years, probably a record-breaking number of quarterbacks taken in the first round. Probably.
Oh, yes.
In terms of numbers, in terms of quarterback turnover, it's as fast and it's as much as it's ever been. And last year was known as one of the poorer quarterback performance years in recent memory in the NFL. That's just what every quarterback didn't play great. And so because of that, doesn't matter that you keep shooting, seeing what sticks with these quarterbacks. Some of them are just not good players. Some of them just, hey, you know what? It doesn't work. Mac Jones just didn't work. People thought he'd come in and be Tom Brady 2.0. Didn't work out. And that guy had an illustrious college season the year prior. Just doesn't work sometimes. Herbert, I thought Herbert was going to be, he was a runner, and Mario Cristobal is a quarterback death sentence coach. All of a sudden he walks in, 37 touchdowns or 34 touchdowns, whatever it was, his rookie year. And the only reason he got in is because the team doctor punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung. There's no timetable or blueprint. Might be a blueprint for the Packers. There's no blueprint to whether it's working. It's a complete crapshoot, unfortunately.
So I want to ask that, 844-770-3776. Which QB did you miss on? Whether you thought was going to be great and they turned out to be terrible, or you thought they were going to be terrible and they turned out to be great. One example I'll give, I did not think, and it was just more the tried and true old NFL rules, I did not think Russell Wilson was going to be a good pro quarterback. The height thing is real. He's still the outlier on that. He does carry the proper amount of weight, like Bryce Young. The knock on him is he's short and he's light.
Yeah.
But Russell, the way he played, it's a little bit of, honestly, Kyler Murray, you see it now, but that was not the norm at that point. I mean, Doug Flutie was probably the guy before Russell for a long time that was that small that would play that style. Like Drew Brees played that style, but I mean, Drew Brees was short, but he got the ball out quick and it was precision passing. So I didn't think Russell Wilson was going to be this sort of level player. I didn't think he was going to be a good NFL player. So that's one I definitely missed on.
Yeah, and it's and the reason he was also so good is he's so prolific in the play action game. Those shorter quarterbacks need to be great in play action. That's how that's their bread and butter. That's how you separate yourself from the offensive line, buy yourself a little bit of time. And I think people are also, in the past few years at least, starting to move away a little bit, probably because the quarterback prospect is just the skill set's diversifying. And it's used to be, the big brute, non-mover, like 6'4", 6'5"-ish quarterback. Now, these quarterbacks have a variety of hyper-specific skill sets and talents that you don't even know if it's going to work. Matt Stafford's probably the last of that breed. Herbert and Lawrence a little bit of that tall stature, big quarterback that could stand in there in a pocket passer. Nowadays, this quarterback's a runner. This quarterback's great moving in between the tackles. This quarterback's got a huge arm but stinks in the short game. There wasn't this much left and right with these quarterback prospects as there was 10, 15 years ago. The prospect itself is changing, therefore there's just more room for error.
Prime, do you have a big mistake that sticks out in your mind?
I think I have a guy who I thought was going to be great his rookie season, ended up not being. Bryce Young, honestly. I thought, watching him in college, I thought he was incredible. I thought he was Russell Wilson, but better. Like, that's truly what I thought he was going to be. And it's tough because it's 1 year so far, and he was at, maybe not even arguably, by far the worst team in the NFL this past season.
Oh, disaster. Terrible ownership, front office, coaching, the whole bit.
I still have a bit of hope for him at this point, but, I mean, if I'm talking about a guy who I didn't think was going to be great and ended up being incredible right away, C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud, I thought he was just a guy. I thought he was Jared Goff of college football quarterbacks when he was at Ohio State.
Yeah, that game against Georgia sold me on him.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I was like, okay, that's the game where he truly showed what he is now.
Yeah.
I thought that was the outlier, though, because I watched so many Ohio State games where it felt like he wasn't doing anything. He had all these wideouts around him, and he's like all the Bama quarterbacks, kind of like Bryce Young. Honestly, it's really hard to tell, especially when you're taking like the difference in competition from college to the NFL. It's honestly impossible to tell.
You know who I thought was going to be a big-time player, too? Sam Darnold.
Darnold?
I thought he was
great in college.
He looked the part, and I remember it was not his junior year, but his sophomore year, he had that great Rose Bowl against Penn State, where against McSorley. Oh, my God. I remember watching that game. I'm like, this guy is going to be a great player.
So I'm going to give you some two olds, but some people listening are olds. But 844-770-3776. Give us the QB that you missed on, whether it was you thought they were going to be terrible and they turned out to be really good, or you thought they were going to be great and they turned out to be bad. Rick Meyer, quarterback, Notre Dame, went to Seattle, actually quarterback the Bears for a little bit. I thought, you just think you see these guys play, he's in the Golden Dome, like, this guy's going to be great. He was horrendous. Rick Meyer was one. And then the other one ended up being an NBA point guard, but I was convinced he would have been a better NFL QB, and that was Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward at Florida State was probably my favorite college football player when they played at Florida State, and they had those rivalries with Miami and Notre Dame, and he was incredible to watch. And then I was blown away he goes to plays in the NBA, which is probably the right decision because he had a long NBA career, made himself some good money, but he was a guy I thought for sure, no doubt, was going to be a really good QB.
Do you think Tebow was going to be a good NFL player?
No, I saw him play a lot down in Florida, and we carry the games at our station in West Palm Beach.
People are either like they thought he was going to be great or thought he was going to be just not going to do it at all.
He's way better than I thought he was going to be. Yeah. I know I did the show with Tarek Saleh, and he talked a lot about, who does Great Dane Huddle. He really was in on Tebow because he loved the intangibles for it. And Tebow, the only reason he was remotely close to successful was the roster. And then, yes, he was a guy that was going to work hard. But I hate to say I don't believe in intangibles, but here's what I'll tell you, that I know for a fact from people around the team, like Mitch Trubisky is one of the hardest working guys you'll ever come around. Same with Jay Cutler and same with Justin Fields. All three of those dudes, none of them were jerks or not. I mean, at least as far as like not showing up. They were there. They were playing their asses off. They were studying. None of them were lazy. And it didn't work. And so Like, it doesn't matter. That's the thing about professional sports. I don't care how hard you try. It doesn't guarantee success. The rest of the life, for the majority of life, you work hard, you can get some level of success. In the NFL, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
And you got to get lucky, too.
Yes.
You got to get lucky into a great team. And, you know, Mahomes, he's great. We know how great he is. That guy got lucky. That's a lucky spot he landed in.
Absolutely. Let me tell you about Carbon World Health. If you want to improve your physical shape, whether that's you want to lose weight, whether you want to gain more muscle, more endurance, go to Carbon World Health. Ask them about semaglutide. You could also ask them about hormone optimization. Go see Dr. Nestor Rodriguez. The easiest way to figure out the right path for you is to sign up for the 6-week experience over at Carbon World Health. This is Rutledge Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Need more of Judgmental Jim? Subscribe to the Rutledge and Hamilton podcast, presented by Revive Restoration, wherever you get your podcasts. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starion Bank, with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starion Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience by going to starionbank.com. Member FDIC. According to a report Wednesday in The Athletic, college presidents and top executives have devised a super league to change college football, as they believe the current system is doomed and headed for bankruptcy. According to Andrew Marchand, former Wisconsin football player Mark Tauscher joined Rutledge and Hamilton on ESPN Wisconsin to react to the news.
It's unlimited free agency. That system is not going to be tenable for a vast majority of these college programs, and I think everybody sees that.
Find the full conversation with Tauscher on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
Are you in need of expert exterior renovations? Look no further than Ridgetop Exteriors. For over 22 years, we've been the trusted name in roofing, siding, windows, doors, and gutter replacements. With a track record of excellence on our Google reviews, we take pride in transforming houses into dream homes. Visit us today at ridgetopexteriors.com for a free consultation. That's ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, your trusted local affordable partners.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com, because they never charge over the MSRP.
I've been here for 28 years. I didn't know anything about trailers when I started here, and now I know a lot about trailers. I enjoy what I do very much. I like the interaction that I have with my coworkers and the pride that you have making the trailers. You always see them going down the road and you say, hey, that blue and white sticker, I made that trailer. My name is Sue, and I'm proud to be a part of Stoughton Trailers.
Stoughton Trailers, big opportunity.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Rutledge and Hamilton every Thursday, and we will let you know where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes. To celebrate our love for dive bars, me and Matt are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one extra special dive bar that will have $2 High Lifes on special for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like Rips Bar in Wanakee, Paul's Neighborhood Bar, Villa Tap, and Nitty Gritty in Sun Prairie.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with Early Pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
That's right, it's Fish Friday here on Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. We're live from the Everlight Solar Studio. I am Jim Rutledge alongside Colin Russo. Primetime will shine behind the glass, and Dan Stoughton chimed in with one of the names, because we're asking you, what was a quarterback that you were convinced was going to be terrible or you thought was going to be really good and was bad? You can chime in with those, 844-770-3776. Dan Stoughton chimes in with Ryan Leaf to be a little better than he was. Ryan Leaf was an abject disaster.
Terrible.
Sadler chimes in, the Pat McAfee show fame there. He called into that show. Sam Bradford. That's a good one, too.
That is a good one.
The knees. I think Sam Bradford had multiple knee surgeries that really kind of... He started off okay.
He had some mild success. Yeah, success for sure. Absolutely. He did a decent job. And then, injuries happen. That's... More quarterback careers get derailed by injuries than quarterback careers that don't.
So... Bill Barnwell's piece, I referenced it earlier, he also goes through like quarterback drafts where there was multiple quarterbacks taken. So just to kind of, we'll run through it quickly here. I don't know if you want to give us some NFL music or something here, Ryan, but it is wild with how the more quarterbacks taken, like it is really just, it could be like shooting fish in the barrel here. So 2021, 5 first-round QBs. Trevor Lawrence, that's a win. That's obviously a win. So he grades these, and I'll share the grade at the end. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones.
Was that 1 of 5?
Right. So basically the way he broke it out was future Hall of Famer, franchise QB, solid starter, low-end pro careers, or disappointments. So far he has, and this one's early because some of these guys could turn around, 4 disappointments, 1 franchise QB.
Wow.
2021, 4 first-round picks. Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love. He has that as 4 franchise QBs.
Hell of a draft.
Right. 2018, 5 first-round quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson was 32nd overall. He has 2 future Hall of Famers, 1 low-end pro career, and 2 disappointments. So as
low-end, Baker, I give Baker credit.
And I think he does put in here that Baker could kind of come back up a little bit. It's been up and down.
Being the first overall pick, too, he wasn't walking into like a carnival.
He was good that first year, too.
Yeah, they won a playoff game with them. So.
And we are going to ask later which one of these 4 QBs do you think will be the most, or at least the worst or the most successful. We'll figure out how we're going to ask that later. 2012, 4 first-round picks. Andrew Luck, RG3, Ryan Tannehill, and Brandon Weeden. Remember, Brandon Wheaton, who I think was like 32 years old. He was older as a rookie. There's no COVID years then either. He has 1 franchise QB, 1 solid starter, 2 disappointments. 2011, Cam Newton, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder.
Oh, my goodness.
So you had 1 franchise QB and 3 disappointments.
You know who was drafted around Blaine Gabbert that year for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Who?
Before and after, J.J. Watt, Tyron Smith.
Oof. Yeah, I hate, as a Bears fan, the worst thing to look at is the people drafted around the QBs that you could have taken instead of that.
God.
2004, 4 first-round QBs. Now this one, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, and then J.P. Lossman.
Yeah, so, that's another incredible draft.
So 3 Hall of Famers and then 1 disappointment. 2003, Carson Palmer, Byron Leftwich, Kyle Bowler, Rex Grossman. Honestly, you got 4 solid players out of that, but, some were... Carson Palmer was the one I disagreed with his ranking on it. So he had 1 solid starter and 3 disappointments. I think you'd call Carson Palmer a franchise QB.
He didn't say Carson Palmer's a franchise QB?
Yeah.
And
that seems harsh.
The thing about Carson Palmer, too, is he didn't have a ton of success with the Cincinnati Bengals.
But he did with the Cardinals. He went to the NFC Championship game once with them.
Yeah, but it wasn't for Cincinnati, but yes.
1999. This is a brutal one. There's some big Fs on this one. But there's some good ones as well. Tim Couch.
Oh, famous.
Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
Achilles Smith. That was 1, 2, 3. And then Dante Culpepper and then Cade McNown. Cade McNown in the long list of Bears busts might have been the biggest one because I don't think he didn't even have a blip on the radar. Like Rex Grossman was the starting quarterback when the Bears went to the Super Bowl. So like Cade McNown, Mitch Trubisky won the division once.
Wasn't Cade McNown just playing for Michigan like 2 years ago?
Right. Justin Fields has his cleats in the Hall of Fame. Like Cade McNown, nothing. And Badger fans know him as the guy the Badgers beat in the Rose Bowl.
Wow.
With Tark
UCLA?
Yeah.
Oh.
So 3 disappointments out of that, 1 franchise QB and 1 solid starter. And then we'll do the last one, 1987. Vinny, because I think we're out of people that you're going to know or maybe possibly know. Vinny Testaverde. And Ryan, I want you to chime in to see if you know any of these people. Kelly Stouffer, Chris Miller, and Jim Harbaugh.
Okay, Jim Harbaugh. I think I've heard of that name. Yeah, I know about him. But he obviously succeeded more with the Chargers than the Bears, right? Then he go on to the Chargers, and he had a pretty successful second team, right?
Honestly, Jim Harbaugh is probably the 3rd best quarterback in my lifetime.
Yeah, okay, fair. All right.
Is that
relative?
a good thing? Yeah.
And I definitely know Vinny Testaverde. He played at the U. He played one of these in the long line of quarterbacks coming out of Miami.
He played with the Jets late in his career,
and then he played with the Jets, and he had a decent back half of his career. Was
that Rex Ryan Jets?
No, I think he was too old
Parcells
to be with Rex
Jets?
Ryan. Yeah, I think he's Parcells Jets. Right when they were the Jets, one of those teams, kind of been frisky-ish, and whenever they're relatively good and they have a relatively good quarterback, I mean, you get pushed up 2 or 3 runs.
It still goes back, and I will die on this hill. If Aaron Rodgers wins a Super Bowl with the Jets, that will be the team he's most remembered for.
You're wrong on that one, but I think Vinny Testaverde, I know him because he played for the Jets.
Look, man,
It would be an iconic Super Bowl. I don't agree with that, but it would be an iconic Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I get it, obviously, the long
For the
history,
Jets,
but
too.
the
New
Jets,
York.
the biggest city
New
in the
York.
world, the tortured franchise.
Yeah, they're no green and gold.
Tortured city of sports, too.
They're no green and gold, that's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's the Jets. He won't do it. This is Rutledge Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honeys. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buck and Honeys to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buck and Honeys experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buck and Honeys.
Hey, this is Craig Karmazin. Join Kyle Wallace and me every Sunday morning for Sunday Karma on a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by A Banner Year, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the first of the back-to-back Final Four appearances for Wisconsin men's basketball. All 4-episode podcasts now available. Subscribe to the Varsity Podcast on Apple, Spotify, as well as Wisconsin On Demand. Big day in Milwaukee sports as the Brewers starting a 3-game home series versus Seattle Mariners tonight. 7:10 p.m. first pitch, and it's going to be opening day starter Freddie Peralta back on the mound after he got a win on opening day last week. The Mariners currently hitting just 196 as a team through the first 7 games of the season. Brewers at 4-1 on the year so far as they split their 2-game home opener series against the Twins earlier this week. Brewers currently ranked number 11 in MLB's power rankings over at ESPNWisconsin.com. Make sure to go check those out. Then, Milwaukee Bucks also looking to bounce back tonight as they're coming off back-to-back losses against 2 of the worst teams in the NBA. Bucks lost to the Wizards on Tuesday, 117-113 on the road. Then, falling to the Memphis Grizzlies, 111-101 at Pfizer Forum. Grizzlies 26-50 now in the season. Bucks have lost 4 out of the last 5 games. They host the Raptors at Pfizer Forum tonight, 7 p.m. tip-off. Damian Lillard is available for the game.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
You got the shell.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton with Jim Rutledge and Matt Hamilton.
People like me.
That's some booty, Jim.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
Everyone is so mean to me.
I am Jim Rutledge.
You never go full Rutledge. Send them my way. Ask for forgiveness.
Yes.
That's what I'm asking. Next time, just say, Jim yelled at me, made me do it.
There is not a lot of things more satisfying than 5 seconds is so generous.
Wait, so there's...
You get like a second and a half from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask Jen.
Blue Killer Bust, right,
Blue Killer
Matt?
Bust, baby.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio. Alongside Colin Russo, here's Jim Rutledge.
Look at Primetime getting Colin's name by the big voice guy.
I'm always impressed when the big voice has me included. I realize how, doable it is. I feel like, I don't know.
Well,
I know he does a great job for us. But.
Since you're so regularly hosting now the Great Dan Huddle with Alex Strofe, 6 to 7 every Monday, I already had it in the back pocket. So we can thank Mr. Irrelevant for some on this one.
No idea. Irrelevant.
As he got it to me today.
Fantastic. At least he's doing something.
Yeah, taking a day off work on a Friday. Who does he think he is?
Jesse Nelson?
I mean, come on.
Selfish.
I mean, next thing we know, he's going to come in with the gout. He used to come in with hangovers. Now he's just got a giant swollen ankle.
He's going full Nelson.
Baseball game.
You never want to go full Nelson. He's going to be bowling,
You
upping
never
games.
go full Rutledge.
You don't want to go full Nelson. This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. For what it's worth, Matt Hamilton is back, allegedly, on Tuesday.
Let's go.
Who's in with me on Monday?
That would be Mr. Gabe Neitzel.
Oh, that's
hosting
right.
With you.
That's
Yes.
exciting. I forgot about that. Gabe Neitzel. I sound really old, right? That's like, remember like in
Yep.
SNL, Bill Brasky, like Gabe Neitzel.
You're sounding even older now, by the way, when you throw out that SNL reference.
It's Will Ferrell. He's only like 70.
He's on the show 20 years ago, yeah.
Right. Shut up! But
Hey, shut up.
So it makes me feel super old. I got here, God, what was 2000? No, I forget. It was a 6 or 8. I think 2006. And Neitzel, I hired him from part-time to full-time, and he and I did a show called Madison's Baseball Tonight that we did before Mallard games. And then obviously Neitzel and I hosted together for a long time. So that'll be a nice throwback to host with Gabe Neitzel. My claim to fame is Neitzel's a pretty calm, collected guy. I can get him upset.
You can rile him up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can't give it away now. You just got to save it.
Well, you know what? Yeah, it's just, you know where to pick. If you, and I feel like you have this skill as well. Like, you just know at times you can just back pocket it. I can get Matt worked up. I can get Ryan worked up. You just kind of know it's always there. It's like the Hulk, you're always angry. Like, I always know I can push you over the line. I haven't figured out your line yet, but I always know, like, you start figuring out where the line is, and I can push you.
It's like toying with them.
Yeah, exactly. I know where to push you on it. 844-770-3776. We're asking you about quarterbacks you thought were going to be good that were bad, or you thought were going to be bad that were good. Robin Madison chimed in. Anyone say Vince Young? I was taking a deuce. So, thanks, Rob. And glad you're regular there, buddy. So, we're going to continue to talk about that conversation. I want to talk about these upcoming quarterbacks because the Packers' most hated rival, Chicago, the center of the football universe, and they have the first overall pick. And Caleb Williams has stopped taking NFL visits. He's not visiting any other team, so he's going to be a Bear. I think I saw somewhere that Pro Football Talk was even saying that Chicago could actually negotiate a contract with Caleb Williams before the
draft?
Yeah, before the draft starts.
Really?
They just can't actually work with him. Because Chicago, if you hear the coaches, they're like, oh, yeah, at dinner we did more install. Like, on his 30 visit, they were doing install the offense, not getting to know him. Like,
smart.
He's going to be a Bear.
Cool. And that is always a pain in the rear end, is setting up those contracts, too, because they so care about so much about especially him.
Yes.
You got to assume he's going to be particular about what type of contract he wants.
Yes. And, I mean, the nice thing in NFL is it is kind of at least locked in a little bit there, but it is funny on the dad stuff here, and I don't want to get like too flippant with it, but all right, so everyone focuses on his dad. By all accounts, his dad is the businessman, and Caleb wants to be a all-time great football player and wants to make sure he maximizes the business side of things. That sounds like LeBron James. That sounds like Michael Jordan. That sounds like a lot of those guys. So
sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't.
Sometimes doesn't, but if we have it that his dad, like they were saying at the NFL, at his NFL Pro Day, his dad was in the stands. He wasn't even on the field. Like his dad like goes out of his way to make it clear, Caleb does the football, I do the business. They are separate. But Patrick Mahomes is one of my favorite players, and I remember his dad, Pat Mahomes, playing in the NFL. Pat Mahomes is already gone to jail once with DUI and is going to go to jail a second time with a third DUI, and he had one of those before Patrick got there, one early in Patrick's career, and now a third now, and he got arrested for that DUI while Patrick was training or practicing for the Super Bowl. So I understand parents are important, but professional players and grown-ups can also put aside the influence their father. Look, LaMelo Ball and Lonzo Ball are both all-star players. Now, Lonzo obviously has a knee issue, so LeVar Ball, not a negative influence in the idea that he didn't make them worse players.
Yeah.
So
in that defense, too, he kind of backed off the second they went pro, and all of a sudden those guys can't stay healthy.
Right. So that's a different thing. But, well, he blames their shoes. And, he was a distraction. He's out there talking, and that's a different sort of level. But I do find it almost insulting at some point that you can't separate these young men. They are young men. They can be separated from their father. So, I mean, they can stand on their own 2 feet and not be – obviously that matters, but they're not going to be distracted to the point where I think it's going to be detrimental. So we want to ask this question. Which one of these top QB prospects is most likely to bust, just to be bad? Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy.
I got to go McCarthy. I'm going to go with the easy one, the cop-out. I'm going to go with McCarthy. And This happens every year. It's one of my biggest gripes with the draft process. Just the crazy riser for no reason. Last year you could understand Anthony Richardson because he had a terrific combine. He was an athletic freak, whatever. But McCarthy, the intangibles, like you mentioned before, you're getting so much intangibles. He's a winner. He's a leader. Team players like him. What are we talking about? What do you mean he's an all these other guys?
My other one's like, he's a hockey player, and he played the high school state championship with a broken thumb.
What are we doing? What are we doing? We saw him play. He was underwhelming. He did enough to win the game. He was a game-managing quarterback, whether you want to say it or not. He game-managed his way to a national title.
He was less impressive in college than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was running around making plays.
Yeah.
And I get the idea. And
he did what he's supposed to do to win. I understand that, but my top 5?
That's
really?
the thing. Even if he was a top 5 QB, but he was picked even bottom of the first round, even where Jordan Love was picked, and you said you were going to draft him, we're going to sit him. He has more developing to do because he's very young. He's also a slender build. Like, he's got a lot of work to do. So that's the part I don't understand. That if you were a team who's got like an aging QB, who's like, if you were the Jets and you could take him with your first pick in the second round, that might make some sense.
Yeah.
Because then you have that would be the normal human being pick for a guy like J.J. McCarthy. Then he has a chance to succeed because he's not fully developed. He needs to cook.
So now you're going to ask him to walk into, let's throw it out there, New England. He's going to walk into a horrible situation, and what is he? An intense floor raiser? No. He is a guy who keeps the roof on the house. He doesn't necessarily do anything crazy. And he won't lose you a game, but he won't win you a game.
Well, I've seen Matt Miller from ESPN said that it is not outrageous to say that many teams have J.J. McCarthy as QB2.
That's crazy. For what reason? For what reason? McCarthy, I get it. He won in college. May was doing with absolutely nobody around him. He comes from an athletic family. There's in 5 different sports.
And he's a hell of an athlete.
And he's a hell of an athlete himself. He runs. The team 2 years ago was great. He had a ton of pros on it. But the team last year, there was nobody on it. He's got a huge arm. This guy reeks of Herbert. Reeks of Herbert.
He does reek of Herbert, but also I was listening to a podcast. That stuff you're talking about there with the talent drop-off is a lot like Jordan Love, where Jordan Love's second to last season at Utah State put up huge numbers. Coaching change and all these players left, his numbers faltered. They fell off a little bit. And so I think if you're making the positive projection, you say, look, these are young players in a college system, especially colleges run systems. You can't just take away their best players and then expect them to put up the exact same numbers. Drake May, I actually feel pretty good he's going to be a good player. He does, when he misses bad. Again, the Athletic podcast, they kind of compared to him that his floor could be Jay Cutler. But Jay Cutler still was a guy who got his team to the NFC Championship game, a couple of NFC North titles, and was a good quarterback. You call him a franchise QB. He was the Bears franchise QB, not premier, but he would be a franchise QB. And they said ceiling is Justin Herbert with Josh Allen's mindset because he's willing to gunsling it. Yeah. And Herbert's a little bit more of a robot is the knock on him.
You got to be careful with how you develop him. That's going to be tricky. Not in a bad way, but he has a particular skill set. You know, the Bills got lucky because they just threw Josh Allen. They're like, try it. Try anything. And there was a lot of trial and error. I remember that Texans game where he's trying to lateral it, and he's losing the ball backwards.
Everything's under control. Situation
he ended up figuring it out because they just put an immense amount of trust into him, but that doesn't always work. Yep. So you got to be careful with how they deploy him in that system. But nonetheless, I have confidence, agree with you, that he'll be pretty good. I think Daniels is the one that should have question marks all over.
That was going to say, I agree with you on McCarthy that he's the easy pick, but I won't double down on your stats there. Daniels is the one I think is the biggest, most likely to bust. Because, one, and again, it goes back to the middle of the field thing, it's either 0, like less than 10 throws last year he made and completed were over the middle of the field, which is a massive red flag. He throws only on the outside.
To his 2 first-round pick receivers.
He's a fifth-year quarterback in the...
Fifth year, yep.
Yeah, fifth-year guy in college, so he might be close to his ceiling. And I also... He runs different than Justin Fields, but he gives off, and he's not as big as Justin. He's also very skinny.
He got thrown around.
Yeah, he runs like Looney Tunes.
Right. Yeah. So he seems like a guy you're going to have to build a specific system around him to get him to work. He's not going to work, I don't think, in this normal system that most NFL teams run, which is the one that Green Bay runs, Chicago's going to run, obviously the Rams, San Francisco. Everyone kind of runs the same system. Like Buffalo is one of the few that don't run this system. Maybe Pittsburgh as well. But there's not a lot of teams that don't run the system.
You know who they compared him to on that athletic podcast you're talking about? They actually compared him to like a skinnier but faster Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
A guy who's great throwing it on the outside, but you need to build kind of like an RPO offense around him. Not going to get through many reads, but super athletic. But if you build the right, I mean, the Eagles had a great infrastructure around Hurts.
The Eagles, another terrifically ran organization.
Yes.
In the NFL. Top 5 ran organization in football.
So if Daniels went somewhere like that, if he was a second-round pick, he'd probably work out.
Right, so like example, and this is where it goes back to our earlier discussion, what's the most important thing? I think for certain, like Caleb and Drake, I think have so much talent, they're going to override a lot of concerns that could be there. And I think they can fit in the modern NFL offense that's run by probably 70% of the teams, or they could fit to an even better if there's offense more catered to their skills. Jaden Daniels does not seem like a guy that will be successful in the offense that, let's say, Minnesota runs. I just don't think that offense is going to be his skill set. There is a lot of throws over the middle of the field. And so I think that would hurt him. It would be honestly probably better in an offense, but he doesn't have a cannon for an arm. He's got a good arm. I mean, it's not like he has a good NFL arm. But so the Josh Allen, like Buffalo offense might not work for him too.
Right.
So you're going to have to kind of find, I guess you'd run the Eagles offense there, which some teams do. And then, but what are you talking about? Washington, Minnesota, or New England for him? And I don't even know what offense.
Too.
Yeah, the Giants could be interesting. I think these guys are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a massive, massive
Do you think
mistake.
Arizona's going to get out of that pick?
Yeah. I think Minnesota got 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to use it.
They're not holding that.
Now, is there a guy, before we get to break here, is there a later pick that you think could surprise?
Call me crazy. Bo Nix.
Okay. You like
Bo Nix, big arm. You know, I get it. He's experienced, played in the SEC.
Experienced.
Yeah.
A lot of experience there.
Plenty of experience.
About 9 years.
You know, put him in a spot where you can let him sit. He will be a viable backup to start, and watch him surprising people. Bo Nix is my pick.
I'm going to go with I like Penix. I'm worried about his knees, and he doesn't move much.
And his shoulder.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Spencer Rattler.
Rattler?
I think he's a guy that, not like Brock. I mean, Brock Purdy was a later pick, but I think he's a guy that you get him in the right system. I think he can make quick decisions. He's been quarterback for a long time. He's not going to wow you with athleticism, but I think he's a guy that
he's got a great arm.
Yes, and I think it's mainly he could be. Obviously, you'd want him to go to a team. Let's just use the Jets as an example. If he went to the Jets and backed up Rodgers for a year or two, and then had the chance to come in at 37 years old, no, I mean, because he's been in college for a while. No, he's 23 now. So if he started 2 years, 25, that's not the end of the world. Like that would be a perfect spot for him.
Or is he just what like Zach Wilson should have been, a third-round pick who's going to be pretty meh when starting?
But Zach Wilson, he's an example. He maybe could have been better. Because he didn't have a full season.
And he was getting sacked like crazy. Oh, my
But if
goodness.
Rattler was in the same situation, do we think he'd be much better?
Oh, that I agree with. Yes. Yeah. I'm saying that if they actually are able to sit
He has the luxury of being a third or fourth round pick.
True. And he's used to it from playing in South Carolina.
Yeah,
he never had any
with
protection.
Him is I think he has probably some pretty glaring character issues.
Yes.
Jumping around teams and not having the locker
There's
room.
a great Netflix show that used to be running every year.
Yeah, I heard
the quarterback series.
Annoying on that.
Justin Fields was also on it. Justin Fields acquitted himself pretty well. I thought he was a pretty good guy. Spencer Rattler was by far the most unlikable of the quarterback prospects I can remember.
I mean, Justin Fields is honestly one of the most frustrating things as a fan because he's, by all accounts, a great dude. Heck, Ryan Poles said that his son had Fields' jersey hanging in his room. He's like, I got to go trade this guy. He's like, he said this quote, I wish Justin Fields was a jerk because it would be so much easier. Because the tape says to trade him, but the guy is such like a great person. You're like, this still stinks. And it's probably why, honestly, it might have helped them roll the dice because they wanted to give him one more chance the first time around and not draft Bryce Young.
Yeah. And they did.
You know what? You rolled the dice and lucked out. That's why I thought people were insane the Bears were going to do it again. They lucked out that the Carolina Panthers took Bryce Young.
What are you going to do next year, too?
And
Next year's quarterbacks?
Right. Oh. But like you couldn't get better than the #1 overall pick again. Like you were never. I don't know what the exact Ho Chunk Gaming comp to that is, but like that is like going on red 100 times over and over and over again. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, go be a winner, like the Bears were a winner when they rolled the dice and gambled on trading the first overall pick last year and ended up being Bryce Young and end up with Caleb Williams now. Go be a winner at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where winners go. This is Rutledge Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
You're probably being overwhelmed with information about semaglutide, the game-changing FDA-approved weight loss treatment. Jim Rutledge here. I was like you. I didn't know what it was until I saw Dr. Nestor Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. He can walk you through the benefits. He can tell you if it's right for you, and then you could come up with a plan to change your life with a workout plan and semaglutide. With that plan, I dropped 20% body fat to 10% body fat, and I dropped over 20 pounds of fat and kept my muscle. You can do the same thing. Go see Dr. Nestor Rodriguez at Carbon World Health.
This update is sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. The Brewers and U.S. Cellular are celebrating the outstanding educators in our community with the Grand Slam Teacher of the Month Award. Visit brewers.com/teacher to learn more and nominate an educator today. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA.
Matt Hamilton here to tell you about my friends at Revive Restoration. Nobody plans for accidents to happen, but when they do, you can count on Revive to be professional, efficient, and detail-oriented as they make things right again. Revive Restoration.
Are you in need of expert exterior renovations? Look no further than Ridgetop Exteriors. For over 22 years, we've been the trusted name in roofing, siding, windows, doors, and gutter replacements.
I couldn't be happier with the new roof Ridgetop Exteriors installed. It's like having a brand new home.
The team at Ridgetop Exteriors made upgrading my siding a breeze. Quality work and friendly service.
With a track record of excellence, we take pride in transforming houses into dream homes. Visit us today at ridgetopexteriors.com for a free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, your trusted local affordable partners.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it yourself at 2 convenient Madison locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Honda certified technicians handle it all. You can even get flexible payment options. Fix your car now and pay later. Apply online to see your options in seconds with no hard credit check. Make your service appointment online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Zimbrick Honda Service Center on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop Zimbrick Honda. Experience virtual golf like never before at the Bogey Factory in Verona. From family-friendly mini-games to monthly tournaments, the Bogey Factory has it all. Enhance your swing with their state-of-the-art TrackMan technology, or play a full round on over 300 virtual courses. While you're there, enjoy their full kitchen and sports bar. Whether you're looking for a fun day out with family and friends, or a unique location for a corporate event, the Bogey Factory in Verona has you covered. For more information, visit thebogeyfactory.com. That's thebogeyfactory.com.
Welcome back to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
When I see the connection, though I see
Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton is the place to go. The Tauscher family goes there. The Rutledge family goes there. The Scalzo family has gone there. You should go there, whether it's an engagement ring, whether it's a push gift, a Valentine's, Mother's Day, any of those gifts coming up, birthdays, wherever it is the need is, go to Chalmers Jewelers, Madison's custom jeweler in Madison and in Middleton. Jim Rutledge, Colin Russo with you. We are live from the Everlight Solar Studio. This is Rutledge Hamilton presented by Coors Light. And we are making a slight change to what's going on here. We're going to bump pole dancing up. We're going to do that here in a second. And then we're going to do throwing stones in the next segment, because we're going to have Russo on Russo stones, which is a special treat here, as Colin and his dad, Mad Dog Russo, will go at it next segment. But this segment, we're going to do pole dancing.
We asked and you answered.
What?
Coming to the stage, it's pole dancing on Rutledge and Hamilton.
Hey now.
Presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Yeah, guys, it is a Fish Friday, which means we always go pole dancing on a Friday here on Rutledge and Hamilton. So, guys, a few good polls from around ESPN Wisconsin this week. But the first one I want to ask you, Kyle Bruston Norman, earlier today asking, outside of quarterback Jordan Love, who will be the Packers' best playmaker in 2024? Will it be Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, or other? 30% saying Josh Jacobs, 56% saying Jaden Reed, 8% on Christian Watson, 6% with other. Colin?
Jaden Reed won that one, you said? Or 15?
Jaden Reed, 56% for Jaden Reed.
Wow, I disagree with that. I'm completely... first of all, KBN bringing up Jordan Love is the sky blue. Let's be honest. But point is, Josh Jacobs, I think, is the easy one here. There's too much of a rotating cast for the receiver position. So I feel like it's easy to go with the running game, because that's going to be a huge, crucial part of that offense. Jordan Love's going to throw to 5-6 different guys. I can't imagine one of them is just going to go crazy with 1,600 yards. So I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs there.
I like where your head's at it, but I honestly, Josh Jacobs, and I'm trying not to let the Bear fandom into it, but I think Jacobs screams this could be a very bad signing.
Really?
He was dinged last year, and I know he's not super old, but he's got a lot of a lot of touches.
But he has been fairly durable.
Right. He has more touches, more carries in his career, in his 3 or 4 year career, than Aaron Jones has in his entire career. So I don't think he's going to be bad. I just think there's going to end up being disappointment of, like, we moved off Aaron Jones and put all his money in here for a running back who is good but not premier like you think you're getting. I don't think you're getting the Jacobs of a couple years ago.
To that point, I also don't think they're going to give him 30 carries a game.
Right.
They're going to be careful with him. They're going to 15-something carries a game.
And I think Matt LaFleur has always wanted a guy like Jaden Reed. He wanted this gadget. He saw it in San Francisco with Samuel, and I think, obviously, Reed is not that. I think he's somewhere between Cobb and Samuel, but I think they're going to try to use it, and I think he's just going to get a ton of opportunity, because I think that guy in Reed is Matt LaFleur's, perfect play. He always wanted that. Remember, he's always tried to find these guys. It never worked. He has them, and I think LaFleur has spent this entire offseason designing things for Reed to do.
Okay, guys. Well, speaking of Kyle Bruston Norman and talking about Jordan Love, they also asked yesterday, what does
he smell like?
What does he smell like? What does he eat for breakfast?
What's your favorite outfit by Jordan Love?
So Kyle Wallace made a wild prediction on the show 2 days ago, actually, saying which will most likely come true: Jordan Love being an NFL Hall of Famer, or Brewers' new center fielder Jackson Chourio winning NL MVP in his career.
What are we talking about? That is a crazy
52% of people said it's more likely Jackson Chourio becomes NL MVP. 48% saying Jordan Love Hall of Famer. Jim, what's going to happen? Come on. All the great Wisconsin sports icons, one of them's got to happen.
You know what, though? I will go with, they're both insane, but Jackson makes more sense, because baseball player, one, he's 20. He's going to have a long, he's got 10 years before he even hits his prime. Now, did they say with the Brewers?
They did not mention with the Brewers, but he is under an 8-year contract.
Right.
Currently.
And then he'll be gone.
At 28, yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, fair.
But I'm saying that 28 to 32 could be his time to win that MVP. Does it have to be an NL one, or can it be any?
Oh, he was listed as NL MVP.
Okay. I'm still going to give it to him, because especially in baseball, that blue chip premier thing matters. And he is the second best prospect in all of baseball, and he has a long runway, and it's not the wear and tear. It's highly unlikely there's going to be some random injury that derails him. So, and the Brewers have turned out some MVPs. So I'm going to go with him over Love.
This is KBN. KBN all over. I can't. It's hard to beat the same tree here, but they keep giving me a reason. First of all, Jackson Chourio has played 5 games in the major leagues.
That's all we need to see.
Can we pause on him being an NL MVP? Can we pause on the statue outside of American Family Field? Same thing with Love. Can they play a couple games before we declare them the god of the franchise? That's number one. Number two, if I had to choose, I'd probably go with the NL MVP because there's a lot of non-Hall of Famers that won NL MVP.
True.
So it's a year-by-year thing, and he's a premier position, so that's probably what's going to happen. But pause.
No pause. No pause,
Too
Colin.
much.
All gas, no brakes.
Okay, last one I got here for you guys. Jen gave and Chewy this morning asking a less sports-oriented question, but an important one nonetheless. If you had a bad experience at a restaurant, do you let someone, the waiter, host, owner, etc., know that you are disappointed while you're leaving? Now, 33% of respondents said yes, you respectfully let them know that you were disappointed. 67% said no, you keep it to yourself. Colin Russo, how do you behave?
I agree with keep it to yourself. Why make a scene, right?
But it's respectful. You let them know respect. You just tell them on the way out to the maitre d', or whatever, what have you. Be like, hey, there was an issue with my food, the issue with the service. This is what went
It depends
wrong.
how bad. I've had issues where, all right, this needs to be brought up. But I've also had certain ones where, like,
minor inconvenience.
Does this really, you want to change your whole night after this? Wait another 20 minutes. You don't know how long it's going to take if they need to fix something or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm on the team of leave it alone unless you really need to adjust something.
Okay.
Yeah, you really have to have something good. If it's something, like, what's an example, like, what would make you want to say something?
If you'd have to have a bad experience so much that, like, the waiter just, like, completely ignored you guys. You had to wait an hour and a half for food. The waiter got all the orders wrong. They had to come out again. Didn't offer to, like
for an
comp you the
example,
food.
like, we were down in Gatlinburg. The hostess, when we got there, we're like, how long's the wait? Because everything in Gatlinburg had a wait. She's like, 20 minutes.
Okay.
It was like 45 minutes. And my wife's getting upset, and I'm like, I don't know, like, don't say 20 minutes. When it be, like, you clearly know it's going to be 45.
I agree
but
with
I
the
did,
highball it.
Yeah, but, like, I didn't say anything because I could see, one, they were overwhelmed. So she made a mistake. It wasn't going to, what am I going to get a free burger out of it? No harm, no foul, but, like, it was one of those things where it was on the line. You'd have to, and service is the worst to complain about because then I feel like I'm like a tattletale. Like, oh, this person was rude or whatever. Like, I would
It's
say
also like
food.
the servers, like,
Right,
they,
yeah.
What if it was the chef really messed
The
up?
food is easier to send back. And I luckily haven't had anything to that point. But honestly, the food's the easiest one because then you just make the server your ally.
Oh.
Yeah,
And
it's not the server's fault. That's a good point.
True.
Yeah, so you'd be like, hey, I ordered it. I'm sure you put this in medium rare. This is like burnt, and I was like, and you could, say like it has to be something that's like ruining your food. That would be an example of like if I wanted the steak medium rare and it's burnt and it's very clear, then it's one of those things where it's like, can you help me out? Like, we're friends now. Like, we're on the same side. Can you help me out here? Obviously I know you entered this in right as a medium rare. This is burnt, and do you think I can get a different steak out here? Because I hate to be this guy, but this is, I will love your steaks. I want to be able to enjoy it. And I think that would be the way to do it. Parting shots on the way out, I think, is the worst. Because now it's like you're just dropping a little bomb. You could be getting someone in trouble on the way out the door, but it's like, oh, by the way, you suck. See ya.
Then you seem petty. You seem like a If you're respectful about it, I understand it. I've never had an issue like that where like the food itself was like, this really needs to be adjusted. I've never sent food.
And
back
I haven't had it either, but I was a bartender server for a long time. If someone tells me the food isn't good, I will advocate for them because I know it's an opportunity for me to get a better tip, and like I'm not upset about that as long as they're not rude about it. I mean, if they're disrespectful to me, like as a person, but I mean, like you have to. Some people go to restaurants and just treat people like crap.
When they act like it's the server's fault.
Right.
Hold on, I'm just delivering plate to table.
The messenger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair. All right. All fair answers.
Well, I'm glad. So, who's the winner?
Well, we don't keep a winner for pole dancing. We do for
My-
throwing stones. Come on.
Look, man, I've been out for a while.
Oh, okay.
My
Out of
bad.
practice.
Yes, out of practice.
It doesn't usually
The
happen.
curling
Hey.
tournament. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heads in the curling right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was locked in. Sorry. All right. So we have Throwing Stones coming up next, and it'll be Colin Russo versus Chris Russo. Throwing Stones, Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.
This is Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light. Watch every show live and for free on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Join Prairie Athletic Club and spring forward your membership today. Hi, this is Sarah Tauscher, encouraging you to save now until the end of August when you join the pack. The Platinum membership is everything you want and more, including Pilates, hot yoga, bar, unlimited training zone, and boot camp classes. Discover the ultimate wellness experience tailored just for you. Not a member? Not a problem. Guests are welcome daily. Head to prairieathletic.com or stop in today for all their membership specials. Prairie Athletic Club, family fun community.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Rutledge and Hamilton every Thursday, and we will let you know where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes. To celebrate our love for dive bars, me and Matt are going to tell you about some of our favorites, featuring one extra special dive bar that will have $2 High Lifes on special for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like Rip's Bar in Wanakee, Paul's Neighborhood Bar, Villa Tap, and Nitty Gritty in Sun Prairie.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
Welcome back to Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
So I teased it going to break that we were going to have Colin Russo duel against his dad, Chris Russo, Mad Dog Russo, but Robin Madison chimed in when I revealed that information and just said Russo. Now it makes complete sense, Colin. So you're making fans already. This is Rutledge and Hamilton presented by Coors Light. If the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
That's Crush, of Coors Light.
We are live from the Everlight Solar Studio, and before we get to Throwing Stones and the Open, just wrapping up his show on Mad Dog Radio, it is Chris Mad Dog Russo joining Colin Russo and me, Jim Rutledge. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it on a Friday and your day's over. Thank you.
How's my buddy, Mr. Rutledge, and how's my dopey little kid? You got a little light today?
All right, let's calm down, all right? Jeez.
Calm down, my Fanny. Jimmy, how are you today, pal? Okay, things good?
Things are great, and you must have had Colin ready to go because he started the show by burying the show on before us about their use of audio. So he has been on one from the start of the day.
You should have heard it. They had a Jordan Love audio. He went to a baseball game, and there was about a 1.5-minute, 2-minute video. They played the entire audio. You can't see anything. There's no baseball game to be watched. It's just a mic'd up of Jordan Love in the stands of a baseball game, and they listened to the entire thing on air. It was an absolute disgrace.
Colin making friends.
Wow, they love the fun that you guys. Jimmy, you and I discussed this at that Northwestern game.
Yep.
It's football, and more Green Bay Packer football, no matter what time of the year it is. So,
it's all like Green Bay to me.
Wisconsin basketball loses. It's all Packers and Badgers in your great town. Anyway, a lot of stuff going on. I had Billy Keller on today. Hold on. Let me just tell my son this so he learns something. I had Billy Keller on today. Who's Billy Keller? He was the point guard of the Purdue team that lost to Alcindor and UCLA in the championship game in 68-69 in Louisville. That was the team 69. With Rick Mount.
I like that number.
That was his junior year?
Mount, the senior. That was Rick. You know Rick Mount, Jimmy.
Yes.
Rick Mount is the only athlete in the history of Sports Illustrated who was on the cover as a high school player. Only one. Not even LeBron. Only one. Rick Mount, 1966. Anyway, Kareem beat him. He had 37 and 20, and they beat Purdue, so I did little Billy Keller today.
That's
Colin,
pretty good.
Did you learn something from that?
Yeah, that's
pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Thanks for the Lou Alcindor college game talk on this local station in Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, I'm gonna tie it more local here, and let's just do the Stones things. And I'm gonna throw the first stone and the first question out there. But let's fire it up, and then I have a question I can make it local.
The guys think they have the answers to everything.
I'm the best there is.
People like me. So it's time to put them to the test.
That's some booty, Jim.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Now, we all know that sticks and stones may break our bones, but Jim Rutledge, you're leading us off today.
I am. So you brought up Lou Alcindor. Zach Edey is the guy who's got 2 National Player of the Year awards, twice. And if he wins the national title this year, where does he rank as an all-time college basketball player? Because I think people are losing track of how impressive he's been as a college basketball player because he likely won't be a good pro. But if Zach Edey wins the title this year, he's going to be considered one of the best college basketball players of all time, most likely. What do you guys think?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question, Jim. I don't know if he'll make the top 10. I mean, Kareem's 1, and Walton's 2. Walton won 2 championships. Kareem won 3, and Bill Russell is 3. So you start there, and you work your way down. You got to put David Thompson in there.
You got to put Leitner.
You got to put Bill. Yeah, you got Leitner. You got to put Bill Bradley in that mix. Pistol Pete Mavericks averaged 44 a game in 3 years.
You know,
but Edney was a great player, though.
Reddick's up there, too. Reddick's a top 15 college player of all time.
Never won a championship.
Yeah, I think
Reddick's
in terms of
that's a little rough, Colin.
But I wanted to bring in the Big Ten. I wanted to bring in the Big Ten, so I got Edey into it. I heard that on, I think it was maybe Evan's show this morning. They were talking about it a little bit, so I wanted to circle it back. But Ryan, take it away now.
All right, guys. Well, we know the segments that we want to talk about, and that's related to the sport of baseball. That is Chris Mad Dogs Russo. Sport of choice, right, Mad Dog?
Well, I love the baseball, yes, and I'm teaching my son a little something about it because his baseball knowledge is nil.
Well, maybe...
Whatever.
Maybe you can teach him a little bit about manners right here, because apparently Shohei Ohtani hit his first home run with the Dodgers today. It's
Not today.
Not today? Was this yesterday? Okay. So this is about a 400-foot blast, an absolute rocket that was caught by a die-hard Dodgers fan named Ambar Roman. And apparently Abnar did the thing that you usually do when you catch a home run at a game. You take it to the officials from the team and try to...
They authenticate it.
Yeah, they authenticate it, and then you try to possibly, meet your hero, meet your idol of Shohei Ohtani. And apparently they handed over the ball, but afterwards the interpreter for Shohei, the new interpreter, actually, said that Apparently, they very much appreciated them giving the ball back and all those things, but no Shohei meet and greet. They never got to meet Shohei Ohtani himself.
And they said that they wouldn't authenticate the ball had they not turned it over.
Okay, well, guys, I got to ask you. Colin, starting with you. What do you think about the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani doing this?
I think this is a joke, and Dad, I want to throw this to you because I'm curious on what you think, because you're clearly pretty riled up about it. It's a joke. They didn't bring them to the car, too, after. I read at the end of that article, too, that came out about it, that they shed all the Dodger gear they got, so they basically got nothing out of it. But that was a terrible, terrible move by the Dodgers. This is what they do. And Ohtani's got so much bad PR right now. What's your take on it?
Well, Bill Plaschke wrote about it, Jimmy, in the LA Times. He hits the home run on Wednesday night. It's in a right field pavilion against the Giants. The two people who are married, Dodger fans, they get the ball. Dodger security guys, 12 of them, run out to the right field pavilion. They separate the husband and the wife, and they tell the wife, be smart, give us the ball back, and we'll give you a couple of hats, and they give you a couple of bats. The wife gets intimidated. She gives the ball back because if she keeps it, and the ball's worth $100,000, if she keeps it, the Dodgers tell her they won't authenticate it, so it'll be worthless. Ohtani then says, I met the couple. What a great couple. No, he didn't. He never met him at all. So the Dodgers look horrendous. Ohtani looks horrendous. All for a stupid ball was Ohtani's first home run at Dodger Stadium. What a disgrace. Bill Plaschke there, Jimmy. Read it in today's LA Times.
Yeah,
so I'm down on the Dodgers.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. You'd think they're the Oakland Athletics. I mean, they operate in such a rinky-dinks operation, or soon to be Sacramento. I mean, you spent billions of dollars this year to bring in all these players. You are a premier franchise. You've been around forever. You know how to do this right. You know how to treat people right. You know that ball's worth a lot. Season tickets for life. I don't know. Lots of autographed meet and greet pictures. Hopefully this spotlight on it allows the Dodgers to retroactively do the right thing, because that's the only way they can save face. And that happens sometimes. But, I mean, come on. You're not some new team.
It's not that
you know
much
how
of a
to do this.
if Ohtani can go out there and meet him and give him tickets to, whether it's season tickets or to 20 games this year, they would take that and run.
Like Chris said, $100,000, like, that's real money to these people. Like, set them up with some real things. You don't even have to do it that day. Like, let them come back.
Get their number.
That
is a disgrace.
Come to a batting
That's
practice.
a bad
Something.
one.
It was brutal.
And only after the LA Times called the Dodgers to get a reaction did the Dodgers reach out to the family with the ball. Yeah. So the Dodgers didn't even reach out to the family until Plaschke of the LA Times asked for a comment from the Dodgers. The Dodgers spent $700 billion this offseason. Write them a check for $100,000, get the ball back, and give them season tickets. It's a 27-year-old couple, a 29-year-old husband who works in a construction company, for crying out loud. That is an absolute unmitigated disgrace. And then Ohtani basically tells everybody, yeah, I met him. Yeah, no, he didn't, Ohtani. You didn't meet him at all.
Ohtani,
I am really down.
He's lying about everything. He's lying about everything. Talking about the interpreter, too. A bad couple of weeks.
Are you trying to tell me he knew what happened there?
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
There's no way.
Jimmy, if you think some bookie, you're smart.
Yeah.
If you think some bookie floated a $4.5 million line of credit to a translator making $200,000 a year, I'll have a brick in Afghanistan in a second. That's it.
No. Obviously, yeah. I mean, look, they're going to let him get away with it.
Yeah. All right, well, great
they
thing.
are going to let him get away with it. I agree.
Great thing we have Christopher Mad Dog Russo on today, because he's definitely educating me about what actually happened with Ohtani's baseball. But maybe he can educate Oakland A's fan on the panel. His son.
So here's the issue today.
You take this.
I'll lead into this, and Dad, you let me know whenever I get the story wrong. Here's the thing: the Oakland A's, who now the new story in their relocation caveat is that they're going now to Sacramento to finish out the 2 years that it will take for them until their stadium gets ready in Las Vegas, and then the eventual move. So they're going to become the Sacramento Athletics. They trademarked it today, and I think this is just another piece on a long list of complete disasters by owner John Fisher, and it's a testament to bad ownership. I agree, a bad franchise overall, but our friend joining us, Mr. Chris Mad Dog Russo, thinks that John Fisher, let's basically build him a statue and he's in the top 10 owners
No.
of all of sports. You
I
don't
did not think
understand
that.
he is
I don't think that.
probably the worst owner, I would say, in the big four sports, in the big three at least. And
Well,
for
now
some
that
reason,
Snyder's
you don't
gone.
agree with that. What's that?
Well, Jim, well, now that Snyder's gone, Jim, here's the deal.
Yeah.
The A's cannot stay in Oakland, okay? They had 4,000 people this whole series against the Red Sox.
In protest.
They hate – it's a toxic environment. It's 3 years, not 2. The A's have to go somewhere. So they're going to Sacramento. It's 80 miles away. Sacramento's got a nice minor league ballpark that holds 14,000 people. You have to have the A's leave Oakland. That's number one. Number two, how about the A's historically? Did you know when they won 3 straight titles in 72, 73, 74, 3 in a row, the Oakland baseball fan was last in the American League in attendance? Did you know that?
Here's what's
Did
funny.
You know that
No. Here's what's funny about that. Here's what's funny. You're bringing up the fan base from 1972 through 74. Newsflash. That was 50 years ago. I think we've aged out on the precise fan base that you are alluding to.
All right, I'll give you this then, Colin. 4 years ago, they won 100 games. They averaged 18,000 a night in that ballpark.
I'm not saying, yeah, it's a terrible, it's also the worst venue probably in sports to begin with to have a baseball game. Do you agree with that?
Yes, it is. Of course I agree with that.
But
if
if people
Oakland
want to go to
was-
a ballpark that's worth going to.
I agree. And they were going to build this ballpark in Howard's Terminal there, and the city of Oakland came up $100 million shy of their proposal. Here's the bottom line, Jim. Here's the bottom line. If you want the team that badly, if you're the city of Oakland, if you want the team, you got to do something about it to keep the team.
How about the
If
owner?
you don't want the team and they leave, they leave.
How about
but
the
if
owner?
you want the team that badly, well, you come up with the money.
Well, the owner can afford it. John Fisher is worth like $2.4 billion. He can afford the extra $100 million. How about that?
I am curious
But
to
he
see.
did it 100 now. Colin, he can, but Vegas is going to give it to him. So if Oakland
For
wants
a
to compete with
9-acre
Vegas,
ballpark, you're. What about the historics of Oakland A's? When Yankee Stadium got renovated, you weren't happy about that. What about that? What about the historics surrounding them being in that city?
oh, come on, the history there. They averaged 15,000 a game 3 years ago when they won 100 ball
They
games.
won in the
for crying out
70s.
loud.
They won in 89. They've been in and out of the playoffs the last 20-something years. Kind of have a little bit of a stigma with the Moneyball stuff. If anything, that is one of, if a top 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 historic franchise in baseball, the Athletics. And
Are
you're
you
going to ship
kidding me, Colin? No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
The Yankees.
You can bring up with Philadelphia and
Yankees,
Kansas City, but I understand
Dodgers,
that.
Cubs.
I mean, Giants, Cardinals. Here's the other thing, Jim.
Yeah.
That's bothers me about the city of Oakland. Where did the A's come from? They came from Kansas City. Did any Oakland A fan give a crap that they took the team away from Kansas City in 1968?
They replaced it with an expansion team. They replaced it with an expansion team.
The following year, Colin. The following year.
Yes,
they took
I
the team
know.
that had,
Unbelievable.
Colin, they took that A's team in Kansas City had Catfish Hunter, Reggie Jackson, Sal Bando. That team was ready to win, and they left. And Oakland took them. Oakland didn't care about Kansas City, so now I'm supposed to care about the Oakland fan when the A fan in 1968 gave a crap about Kansas City? Nonsense.
You don't think
they played the game and now they get hurt? I don't want to hear it.
You don't think John Fisher should sell that team?
Listen, John Fisher's an idiot owner. I don't disagree with you on that. But, you can't make him sell the team, Colin. He owns the team. Well, are you going to make him sell the team? You don't want to sell the team.
I think Rob Manfred could get involved and force to sell if he really wanted to.
No, he can't. He didn't commit a crime. He doesn't have anybody doing any investigation. He owns the baseball
It's hard
team.
to get someone to
course,
force it.
But
You got to
it
be
is
Snyder
a historically
or Sterling.
poorly owned baseball team.
Yeah, but
historically.
They're not going to force him out. All right, give us one thing. Again, way to make it local. Sal Bando, former Brewer,
Yes.
and lived in
Bando.
Oconomowoc, which is just down the road. You didn't know any of that,
Yes.
Ryan. He's
No.
well before your time, and I don't begrudge you that.
No, I did not know any of that. Two baseball historians going at it. I'm glad I got to do this.
No, he's not going to like that. Dad, how was the earthquake today in New York City, really quickly?
Yeah.
Jimmy, Collie, at 10:23, I was downstairs getting ready for the baseball show, High Heat, and the earth shook. I thought it was the wind. It wasn't.
The wind in the
And
basement?
then I was down in the bed. It was 4.8. And then, Jim, at 5:59, aftershocks happened again, 4.0. Think about it. In New York City, 4.0, the earthquake felt from D.C. to Boston, which is a distance of about 400 miles. A crazy day in New York. After an unbelievable weather experience on Tuesday and Wednesday. I've never seen it worse in New York with the weather.
With the flooding, right?
With wind and
Did
rain.
the Statue of Liberty get struck by lightning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, did it? I didn't even know that. Did it? There you go.
I believe there's a photo of it,
So
yeah.
you knew it was an earthquake right after it happened, or you did a little bit of adjustment, or what happened?
Yes, I knew pretty quickly that it was earthquake. Everybody texted everybody else saying, wow, did you feel that? Lasted about 12 to 15 seconds. It definitely shook. It is a little nerve-wracking. There's a big I guess New York City can withstand earthquakes up to 5.8.
Wow.
This is only
So it's close.
4.8.
Close,
Yeah,
though.
but I think there's a huge difference in velocity. I think that extra point there is a big point. Anyway, to make a long story short, very strange couple days in New York. Jimmy,
yes.
you are the freaking best. You're putting up with my 21-year-old son today. I give you a tremendous amount of credit.
He's been a joy to have on. He's been fun. Off field sometimes, but a good time.
It's funny, you've only spoken to Jim this entire call, but I appreciate it. I appreciate
love
you.
You know that.
I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and
Enjoy
we're
the
up
weekend.
against it, so Mad Dog, thank you so much.
We love you guys. Take care of him, Jimmy.
We
Want
to give a shout out to our good friends at Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and Middleton, Tauscher family, Scalzo family, Rutledge family, whatever you need, Mother's Day, engagement rings, push gifts, Chalmers Jewelers, Madison's custom jeweler, Madison and in Middleton. This has been Rutledge and Hamilton, presented by Coors Light.